Welcome back to the 7th Star to the Right podcast. This will be our 5th session.
Is it 2 or from?
It's 2.
2. It's
Okay.
2, not from.
Are you sure?
Because, yeah, it's 2. We'll figure it out.
I thought it was 7.
It's just 7. All right, so you guys leveled up at the end of last session, and I told you all to come here leveled up. So I hope you all are. So
For sure.
For the person listening who doesn't know how character advancement works,
We're
Hello.
talking to you.
we're talking specifically to you.
And we love you.
So you gain some additional hit points. Like you roll number of d6 equal to your level.
2d6.
Yeah, well, you guys will be rolling 2d6 because you're level 2.
Hell yeah.
And then you'd be adding things, adding your Constitution modifier to each of those rolls. I know if you're a warrior, you gain some more hit points. If you have another feat, you get some more hit points. Saving throws get a little bit easier. You guys have better attack bonuses, so you won't be as shit in combat.
Oh, yeah.
Some
I
of
am
us.
not shit in combat. I did great in combat.
After we
Hit a
completely
man with a
murdered that
motorcycle.
encounter.
Have we figured out that homebrew rule yet?
Nah,
Vehicular homicide? Are we still working
Cross
on that?
that bridge when we come to it a
Okay.
second time.
Yeah.
We'll cross that vehicular manslaughter bridge when we vehicular manslaughter get to it.
You guys would get some skill points that you can spend on increasing certain skills or increasing attributes, and also on levels 2, 5, 7, and 10 you guys gain new focuses, which are like new
Foci,
abilities.
Jeff,
Foci.
foci.
I'm sorry.
Of course.
So let's go around the table real quick and figure out what people did with their characters. And David, you look like the most ready.
Sure, man. I'm 100% just playing with my dice, but I will absolutely talk to the person. Hi. How's it going? Yeah, so at level 2, I, David, playing Alex, took psychic training as my foci. So Alex is a little bit better at biopsionics. He can heal people. And now that he has level 1 in that, I actually get HP back to people instead of just, if they're dying, stopping that. They'll actually get hit points now. And for my level 1 technique, I took remote repair. So I don't have to be right next to somebody to heal them. They can be up to 100 meters away. As long as I can see them, they can be back up on their feet. But using that costs 1 more effort than it normally would, using that remote repair feature. In the similar vein, he got better at healing. He is a little bit better at shooting. He's kind of gotten over his gun phobia just a little bit. Has started bringing it back and polishing up the skills. So he now has a 0 to shoot as opposed to a -1.
Ooh.
Very nice.
And in addition, I took a skill point in program just because he's been on comms a few times now. So he kind of has a base feeling for that. So that's also up to 0 from -1. He's a little bit hardier now at 12 hit points from the 6 that was there. And that is my level up.
Fun times.
Yeah.
All right,
Kirsten.
yeah, I'll go next. I didn't roll so great on the whole hit point thing, so I gained a mighty 1 hit point for a total of 8. So that's exciting. For my focus technique, I took Ironhide, which is you have an innate armor class of 15 plus half your character level rounded up. So super exciting.
You're going to be hard to hit, huh?
I'm hoping. I'm trying to protect my 8 hit points. And then I increased shoot up to a +1 and pilot up to a +1.
So you're a shooty pilot.
I'm a very shooty pilot.
Cool. Philip.
All right. So Micah took as her focus the 2nd level of psychic training and telekinesis, which just basically gives me extra points to keep doing telekinetic things. So got a technique called pressure field, which basically lets me form a telekinetic vac suit that can kind of like pressurize and protect us in harsh environments. So that's going to be neat.
That's awesome.
Neat.
Micah has also been trying to pay attention more in combat and I put a point of notice. And also exert, because we spent a lot of time on the ship and I've been doing that yoga, baby.
Power yoga.
Power yoga. Oh, and also a point in telekinesis too.
Cool.
Nice.
So for that back suit sort of psychic thing, does that mean you can exist in the vacuum of space for a certain amount of time?
I was looking at the book and that wasn't entirely clear.
Okay.
It says it functions like a vac suit, but do you need to like attach oxygen to a vac suit? It can pressurize thin atmospheres, but I think in the vacuum of space we could live for like a little bit.
Yeah, definitely better than not having that in the vacuum of
not
space.
Instantly boiling, but not running around on.
Oh, don't worry. There are actual
space
hard
vacuum.
rules about being exposed to the vacuum of
I'm
space.
sure there are.
So yeah, it can do like heat and cold in extremes up to a certain point, but a pretty high point, very well.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right. Guys got all new bells and whistles. I don't get anything new to play with. But
I mean, you should have leveled up Claire.
I
She got really good at hiding
she's
in the smuggler's hole.
she finally got to go to the bathroom.
Did she?
I don't know. Did she? No,
I
she.
don't think so.
We don't decide this, Jeff. This is literally why you're
Don't
here.
put this on
I'm
me.
trying to remember this. Maybe.
Things were hard.
Yeah, because you guys like landed and then immediately. Speaking of things that happened during last session, what do you guys remember from last session? So the last session began with you coming out of metadimensional space, and then seeing absolutely nothing. Then you guys proceeded to Gal. Do you guys remember what happened after that?
We met up with Atlas and somebody else who does not have cool laser eyes.
Her name was Dahlia.
Delia.
Delia, crap.
So and they hired us to go track down a caravan that they lost contact with, and then we flew over there and we found it. Yeah, and we hid Claire in the smuggler's hold before we went out, which was probably a good idea. And then we found it, and everything was on fire, and everything was terrible. And we ended up landing between what we assumed to be the people who attacked the caravans, one of their 2 hover cycles, and the caravan itself, which became incredibly relevant later when I stole said hover cycle and ran over a person with it.
Ran over the last man with it.
Yeah, he almost got away. Then he didn't.
Zoom, zoom.
Yeah, and that pretty much covers the entirety of the last session. So you guys are now situated here with you've got Delia and Atlas with you. You've just dispatched 3 men. You also saw a hostage get shot in front of you. You would assume that Atlas and Delia did not take that too well. The front car is the one on fire, and maybe there's someone in there, but if there is anyone in there, they're in a bad way.
Yeah.
And Alex was able to pull the man from the second car out and resuscitate him.
Yeah, get him stabilized.
Yeah,
So
great.
we go back into this scene now where you've got one truck on fire, another truck rammed into it, and another one pulled off to the side. And 3 dead culprits sort of strewn about the battlefield.
Given that they don't need these anymore, can I keep the hover cycles?
Is that an in-character question?
That is an in-character question.
I mean, who are you
Yes,
asking to? You just can put it on the ship.
That's true. Okay. This is mine now.
From the other side of the road, you hear like, what?
So were you directing that at anyone in particular, or just stating it outright, saying like, well, since there aren't any owners of these vehicles anymore?
It was a little bit of so we got hired by Atlas and Delia, so I feel like they're kind of in charge here. So if they were to say like, no, we need these.
So that was
then-
directed at like Delia and Atlas.
Yeah, probably whichever one was closer and ran up and shot the guy in the head.
I believe that was Delia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Delia killed one dude, and then Atlas sniped the other guy across the way. The one you'd hit with your car.
So whoever's closer to me, I just want to ask.
I think Delia is the closer one to you
Sounds great.
and is also the more vocal leader. And you direct this question to her, and she's in a phase, and she goes, yeah, don't. They're all yours, hon. And she's looking down at the hostage that was shot in front of her, and she blinks out and like, okay, we need to get this cargo out of the burning truck, and also the adjacent truck. We need that desperately.
Is everybody accounted for?
No, there was a driver in the first truck. Atlas, can you...
I'll go with them.
So you and Atlas go around to the front of the truck, and the front of the truck it's mangled, to say the least. It's obvious that the fire started from this area. Do you want to try and put it out and see if you can...
Can we get to the door without touching the fire, or is there...
It is engulfed in flames. Oh. The carriage of this ATV.
Yeah, I don't have...
Is there... What's the state of the ground around here? Is it like sandy or kind of loose dirt or rocky?
It's loose dirt, rocky. It's more of a chateau kind of Midwestern than like a Sahara desert, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna kind of hold up my shirt to my nose. Micah, do you have? Can you pull on the handle from? It's a bit hot.
Yeah, sure. So I will kind of move over so I can see where they are and try and pull open the door.
Okay, so the ATV is on its side. So you try and pull the door sort of up, point it open like a can opener. Atlas gets up on the side of the truck where the flames aren't really licking, and he tries to look in. He says, I don't see anything. I don't know who was driving this, but they're not here anymore. And he gets down off of the truck and sort of brushes himself off and looks over at Delia, and she just sort of shakes her head.
For what it's worth, I am and have been since originally requested unloading stuff from various vehicles.
Cool. You know what? Is anyone going to help Nona with this? I think Atlas would like
try and rescue the person, and I was told to do a thing, so I'm going to do that thing.
Is there any stuff still supposedly in some of the trucks that are on fire?
So there's currently one truck that it's on its side is on fire.
Yeah.
That I assume is the most pressing of the. We need to get things out of this one. There is also a truck that slammed into the on fire one that's mangled in its own right, but not currently on fire. That's the ATV that the freelancers came out of with the hostage. So there's some stuff sort of you can see boxes sort of strewn about from the second ATV. But everything still appears to be within all of the trucks.
Okay. I'd like to try and... I'm still holding a grip on the door that I held open for Atlas. I'd like to try and wrench it off the hinge.
The entire door?
Yeah. How heavy is that?
All right. Yeah, you should just be able to do that, fire. I think. I mean, it is on fire and a little melted and mangled, but if you want to take it, you certainly can.
Well, I need this for a reason.
I need this.
What I'd like to hinges?
But I'd like to try... Not happening this time. What I like to try and do is use it as kind of like a big shovel to start like putting dirt on the fire and try and dampen it out.
Okay, so I think I'm going to need an exert from this.
That's
probably an exert. What attribute do you use for your whatchamacallit, your telekinesis?
Constitution.
I think I've had you do this before where you do I think I had you do a Constitution sneak. So when you tried to pull that rod out and just scraped it, so I'm going to want you to do a Constitution exert.
All right.
To try and mitigate the flames. Is anyone going to try and help her put out the flames at all? Or so Atlas is going to go with Nona and start unloading things because he's big and bulky.
Yeah.
I wanted to go over to the various bodies that are around. Are they like good and dead, or are they?
So I can't remember
Mostly dead.
How all of these men died. The
Wow.
hostage. I'm sorry. I haven't listened to the last episode recently.
Meta.
I know the hostage was shot through the temple. He is good and well, very dead. The others were some combination of shot and or hit by a grav cycle, hover cycle.
Yeah.
And they are also
All right.
quite dead.
Okay. Cool. Then I'm gonna just kind of take a moment and look at all the bodies. Deep breath. Shake my head and go help unload.
Okay. So what'd you roll for? Did you, Phil, did you roll?
Yes, I got an 11 for my brain exertion.
Okay.
He
So
does not need help.
you have been able to put out the worst of the flames. You don't feel like there's any imminent danger to anything exploding or any cargo going up in flames. So you don't have to be as fast to unload these things.
Sweet.
Cool.
Cool.
Good job, Micah.
Stuff's
Delia-
dirty now, but
Delia walks over to Alex and says, first two trucks aren't going to be able to make it all the way back to Ragged Springs. Could we use your ship to move those first two cargo? Either myself or Atlas can take the last truck.
Of course. Plenty of cargo space as long as I look over to Micah and Nona. As long as everybody is okay with that.
How really?
Hold up a
really-
thumbs up.
Really fast question. How big is the ship compared to the rest of the stuff? Like, obviously, we would be able to fit the cargo on there. Is there any, like, would the truck also fit in there? Like, could we just put everything in there and just fly them over to where they're going?
The truck itself won't fit. It's a
Okay.
little bit it's unwieldy to get in. I think it'll be a little bit longer than would actually fit in the
You get stuck in one of those pull forward an inch, pull backward an inch.
more so
scenarios.
you'd have to keep like the door to the actual ship open
And
and
then
just
we
get
get to
like one of those
strap it in.
bungee cords over the front,
oh no.
really sketchy like. So the truck itself won't fit in.
Okay.
All of the cargo will fit in. I think you guys have something along the order of like 160 tons of cargo space. Each of these could only carry, I think, about 20 tons.
Mhm.
So all of the cargo within all of these would fit, but there's no point in unloading
Yeah.
the third truck if it can still drive. It just pulled off to the
Right.
side.
Cool.
All right.
Then yeah, of course we'll start loading that up.
Are you guys? I want you all to roll a wisdom notice check.
Notice.
I'm less
I'm
bad at that
good
than
at
I used to be.
those.
I rolled 2 6s, and then with my wisdom, I got a -1, making that an 11.
I
Good job, Nona.
too got an 11.
I also have -1 and I got a 10.
Wow. All right. So you guys are. So the first one was full of kind of everything that Delia said. It was full of like food, water, medicine.
Mhm.
You know, the standard stuff that a colony or a town needs in order to survive. The second truck, the one that the Okoye brothers, the culprits, came out of, you start to pick up some of these boxes. One of them obviously was askew, and Atlas was the one to pick this one up,
Mhm.
looked inside and quickly sort of
Mhm.
closed the top of it. picked it up and started just moseying on back to the ship without ever mentioning sort of what was in it. You guys all notice this.
Yeah.
And as you guys start to pick up these, they're a lot bulkier and heavier than the other boxes that you were carrying. You think there might be something different in these than the standard sort of supplies
We
needed.
found the porn boxes.
Really quick question
Is Atlas
here.
porn stash?
When we were talking with is it Okoye?
The Okoye brothers.
Yes. When we were conversing with them or whoever was in charge of that little group, didn't they explicitly say something about there also being weapons here?
Yeah.
So, like, we know what's in the boxes. The question is, do we care?
Yeah.
Okay.
This information is out there now.
That's very fair.
I don't think it's any of our business what's in these. I think
I didn't carry them.
yeah, we get what we came for, get some gas.
Exactly.
I don't care.
All right.
You good?
I mean, I've known that there are weapons.
So you guys fully unload the first and the second trucks. No questions were asked about maybe some of the illicit cargo.
Yeah, we got drugs on our
Yeah,
ship.
they don't ask questions we want either.
Pot,
Not right now.
kettle.
And as you guys were all doing this, Delia has been off to the side of the road and has been digging some graves, specifically for all of the intact dead. So she's pulled the three freelancers, and they're shallow graves. They're not 6 feet.
As she's kind of before she puts them in the ground, I want to go over. Delia, I do appreciate the hard work that suddenly went into digging these holes, but we can give them a proper burial. We can load them onto the ship as well and take them back to Ragged Springs. Doesn't have to be on the side of the road.
Well, these 3 men deserve a shallow grave, but I guess for poor old Noah, we should take him back. He ain't got no family, but you're right, he deserves to be with his kind.
Yes, so one less hole.
That is how math works.
Just kick the dirt
That's all.
back into
That's
that.
all I wanted to say. Yeah.
Yeah. So she sort of looks to you, asking for help to sort of move the body that she called Noah. Did you know Noah from your time there?
Oh yeah. I mean, Alex had probably met and spoken to, or at least knew the name of every miner that was under his jurisdiction. Yeah. If not because he specifically went out, but because Delia introduced him to each and every miner that was under his jurisdiction.
So she looks to you to help with his feet, and you guys lift him up and sort of take him over to the Blue Robin, where you lay him down in the cargo hold and lay over like a nice blanket and stuff. And she turns to you, Alex, and is like, I remember when that boy came to our town. I remember the first time I told him how to swing a hammer.
Yeah, to tell him how to. He wasn't always the brightest.
He was not the brightest, not the sharpest tool in the shed.
He was looking kind of dumb.
Does he still have a finger and a thumb?
Trying to have a somber moment, guys.
Sorry, we'll keep loading stuff.
He has most of a thumb. Again, not the brightest, but very fun to work with.
Yeah. Shame. See.
Doesn't get easier,
No.
especially when you're fighting. There's only more.
Yeah, there's light at the end of the tunnel, but doesn't make digging the graves any easier,
No.
She takes one last look at the body covered in the sheet and just shakes her head and goes over to Atlas to help sort of secure the supplies so they don't move around during in transit. All right. Do you guys have anything else you want to do? I assume you guys are taking the hover cycles.
Yes, very much so.
Oh,
yeah.
I asked if I could have them, and I was told yes.
Mhm.
So now I can have them.
So both of them are pristine.
Excellent.
That almost like right off of the factory line. One of them obviously has
There's a
some
little
dents
gunk
in
on
it,
it.
a little smudge of blood where it ran over a man.
That just makes it look more hardcore.
It's
Just
rugged.
just-
It's well used.
Just throw some hydrogen peroxide on it. It gets it right out.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I think that yes. So we'll take the hover cycles. We've taken the cargo from the back of the 2 trucks that won't drive anymore, and I'm trying to figure out a way. Speaking out of character for a moment, to get both of them to take the truck so that we can go confer with Claire because she's been in there for a while, and I feel a little bit bad for her.
Mm-hmm.
But also,
So you're going to go in and like check in on her? Like,
I would like to, but I don't think we should while either Delia or Atlas is on the ship.
okay.
Do you let either of us know your plans?
I have no idea. If we happen to cross paths,
Sure.
I will mention it.
Cool. In that case,
Yeah.
I'll go. Delia, can I talk to you outside for a moment? Because Atlas is presumably still with the trucks and stuff.
Yeah, he's securing the cargo right now. Also, what'd you guys do with the man that Alex saved that pulled behind the truck? I assume you pulled him on.
Yeah,
We'll just
pulled
stack
We're
him
leaving
on
him right
top
there.
of the dead guy.
Yeah.
Oh
We're
god.
saving on storage space.
Just kind of pulled him out of the sun. I don't know if he's up and going.
He's
when I
unconscious
healed him,
right
he was
now,
yeah. Just kind of set him up.
Are you guys going to put
In
him
the
in one of
cargo.
the spare rooms?
I
or
mean,
cargo
I was
hold,
going to
or-
ask if our ship had any, like, med bay or anything like that on it.
There's no place that is specifically made for medicine. There's like the crew's quarters, there's the lounge, and there's the kitchen.
I'd probably put him in somebody's room then.
All right. I think you guys have one more spare room that isn't used by any of you or... Wait. Yes. That isn't used by any of you or by Claire. So you guys are going to take him up and put him in there?
Yes.
Lock the door.
Yep.
Stay there.
You going to keep anyone to watch on him or are you just leaving him up there?
I think we should keep somebody to watch on him because otherwise, if/when he wakes up, that would not go well.
Yeah, I can stick around that door, keep an eye on the hallway.
Okay.
All right.
Let us know if he wakes up.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
taking Delia and Atlas outside. Micah's hanging out with the dude,
His name's Mikey.
with Mikey. Mikey dude.
Mikey Navarro.
Oh.
He has a name.
Uh,
He's still alive.
is he
For now.
one of your old friends, Alex? That's another one of your crew.
Crew, yes. And when you're part of my crew, you're definitely a friend. Just because they are forced to be. That was a joke.
Weird. Okay. Got
It's
it.
not a cult. I swear. Sometimes I describe things and it just comes out sounding like a cult. It's not.
Definitely.
Well, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, so if Micah's with the unconscious dude, Mikey, and Alex is got Delia and Atlas both outside at the same time, I will go check on Claire.
Mm-hmm.
And the general intention is to inform her of the situation as efficiently as possible, and then to see if she needs anything, but probably also should stay hiding.
Okay.
That's the goal.
I'd like to go to the bathroom, please.
Okay, go do that.
She gives you like a thumbs up and scrambles out of the smuggler's hole. So She has gone to the bathroom now.
Hooray.
Yes.
The biggest question.
That was the biggest question.
You work experience now, right?
Yeah.
That's been the podcast.
So she's up to date, and she seemed a little skittish of the fact that you guys were just in a firefight, a little worried about people. Also was still wary of you, you know, a little skittish around you. For no particular reason. It's fine.
Don't worry about it.
So do you want to RP the conversation with Atlas?
Yeah,
and
I do
Delia?
actually want to talk to them away from everybody for a moment. So I go over, kind of find Atlas while he's tying everything down, and if he's done with the work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just wrapping up.
Okay. So, mission successful, which is good.
Well, not completely a failure, but you know,
sometimes that's what you have to take. And
we got all the cargo, but lost a couple of good men today.
Yeah, I did. Delia, it's a loss for you, for Atlas, for the crew, for everyone. And you realize that there's only going to be more. And part of the reason for that is currently sitting, and I gesture down to the truck and then over to the cargo hold, all around us. And Atlas, you can try to hide them as well as you can, but you cannot hide very well. It's just not who you are.
Not the best stealth man.
No,
Fair, man.
never.
And Delia, she thinks on this and she says, they were the ones who started it, Alex. You remember, brought in them guards just when we were asking, we want better facilities. We want protections as workers. And they come to us and hit us, kill us. They fired the first shots there. We're just trying to protect our own, make a living in this world. If that requires a change of management or who we talk to, well then, so be it.
I don't disagree. And all I can hope is that reason remains strong enough for you as the next one dies and the next one.
Yeah.
Remember, don't let it harden your heart. If it's going to happen, make sure you have a good reason and not just an old one.
She takes like a hard look at you, lays a hand on your shoulder. Someday you're going to need to tell me about where you were before Gal. You are too wise a man to be this young.
Okay, well, let's not go there. Oh, look at him, he's so old. No.
No, I was saying an old soul.
My hair is greasy, it's not gone. There's a big difference.
She gives a hearty chuckle and gives you a good smack on the back. Alex, we'll miss you. We got some plans lined up with other contractors who we believe can protect us from our old employers. You remember the Gold Grove mining? They're gone. They're out of here. We've got some buyers on who wants the rights to these mines and this town. We believe they're gonna come true on those promises. Part of these supplies here are from them specifically. So she gives a nod and
Which part?
all of it. They want us safe. They want us to be able to protect ourselves. They just have some interest in the mines is all.
Okay. Well, I'm, as you know, not good with one part, but if you ever need a set of eyes on a contract, that's important too. That's going to decide when all of those supplies away and put down. It'll be the terms that you agree that makes your life. So if you need any help, try to find me.
I'll make sure to do that. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah. Who's going to be driving your truck?
Well, Atlas doesn't know how to drive, so I think that'll be me. I'll send Atlas up there to take a look on after Mikey. You guys go on ahead. I'll phone ahead, make sure they are aware that you're coming. Don't shoot you down or anything. We'll take care of your ship real nice, fill her up, patch up some of those holes, and make sure you get your just desserts.
Appreciate that.
I'll be a little bit behind you. Oh, sorry. Just rewards? Just rewards.
Anything with just in it is automatically suspicious.
If I may, Delia, I don't know if traveling alone is the safest bet. I don't know if this is just the first wave. If they had more people coming to transport, you can't really take much with just 2 hover bikes. You might want Atlas with you to provide some cover as well.
You know what? All right. You keep a look on after Mikey here. We don't want to drive him back. He needs some looking after. He's got a daughter and wife to think about.
Okay. Of course. Oh, well, like old times.
If we gather and reconvene to like discuss what is happening now and the time is right, I would like to ask Delia and Atlas if they want to take any of the weapons with them for the road.
Oh.
You guys want any of these?
You want a rifle, maybe a syringe?
They both were already carrying.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
they don't.
fine then. They don't need more guns. More guns.
Atlas just sort of like scratches the back of his head and looks down like, whatever do you mean?
the weapons
Hey, boo boo.
that
No.
are in the crate over here.
One of them picnic baskets.
It's
Do you want them?
bigger than your average gun.
They're okay.
Okay, cool.
They already armed as well as they think they need to be.
Cool.
So are you guys? So they're gonna head off. They're gonna take the truck. What are you guys doing? Are you guys going to meet and talk about things for a bit? Are you going to immediately try and just sort of be one-on-one with them? Are you going to go ahead?
I mean, we can be talking while we're also getting ready to like fly places, right? Multitasking.
Yeah.
That is what I suggest we do.
Okay.
Love me some multitasking.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you keeping Claire in the smuggler's hold?
So Claire, I think, can come out.
Yeah,
For
we
now, I'm
want to
gonna-
keep an eye on Mikey, though.
Yeah.
It would very much stink to just have done all of that. Just to have somebody be like, also, there's a girl there.
Yeah. So I think I'm just going to try and lock Mikey's door from the outside.
Okay.
If there's an outside lock.
Alex, do you also have like a medical kit?
Yeah.
Oh, did you
Sure
need
there's
to like
sedatives or something in there that you can just
did you need
like,
to patch him up or do you just want to knock him
No,
out?
I handled it on
Yeah,
the
he's
ground.
completely stabilized.
Oh, okay, cool.
He's not at chance of dying. He's unconscious
I
right
have
now.
fast hands.
Love
He's
it.
dead.
We may not get the result you want, but we'll get there fast.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a doctor that had like a 300% mortality rate
He did the surgery too fast.
and like killed both a bystander, someone watching died, and then also the person who he was working on died?
Mhm.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
Good job, that man.
Absolutely.
Go for your goals.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. Yes.
So you guys are having
Yeah, plan is having conversation while
eventually heading
getting
over to
ready
Ragged
to
Springs.
go fly the ship. Does
Mhm.
anybody know where the third guy went? Like the driver?
No idea. Which is
Oh, yeah. The guy who wasn't in that truck.
Yeah.
Because of the flames were that high, it's a possibility that he was incinerated.
burned to
People
ash.
just didn't want to check.
There was nothing immediately apparent left after Micah put out the flames, but
That's
they
fair.
were burning hot enough to.
Okay.
Those space engines, they burn.
They burn hot. So
Okay. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Well then, we have the ship to ourselves again, except for I gestured over to wherever Mikey is, vaguely. Yeah. We never really discussed payment. They mentioned something else there, but otherwise they're going to take care of the ship, and we'll take off to Odysseame. Is that the plan, goal?
Yeah.
Get somewhere
Uh,
safe.
Yeah, I think at least we're trying to get back to Magalka and see where we go from there.
Yeah. Oh,
I would just very much like the ship to not have holes in it anymore. That's about as far as I've got.
Yeah.
it doesn't actually have holes in it.
Oh,
That'd be very bad, but
That's
yes.
true. That's fair. It has been damaged. It is not pristine like my new hover bikes. Well,
Oh, yeah.
one of them.
are those any good?
Do we want to keep
Okay.
these or sell them?
Oh.
I absolutely want to try and take this other one out. Never ridden a bike before, but it seems sick.
No, it's healthy.
I'm sure Nona can
Uh-huh.
give you. I'm sure Nona can give you a few pointers. It's become very clear that she's very good with a hover bike.
I'm very good at driving most things.
Do you always hit people when you take them out? Because actually, that might not be the definition of a good driver. Now that I think about it.
Well, we did want him to not leave, and I stopped him from leaving. So, mission accomplished.
It's a pretty cool move. It worked.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. Overall, that could have gone worse. We're still getting paid.
Also, do we have a? Look over at Claire, who I'm assuming is there.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a cover story? I wanted her. I wanted you to hide because of the identification. But now that we're here, kind of going around, can we just say that she's your sister or something, Micah? Or do we have something else? I don't necessarily want to put you back in there if we can help it.
I would prefer that, yeah.
I would too. Yeah. I would say my daughter, but I'm not that old, I swear. It's just,
Yeah. No, I mean, if you're cool with it, you can say you're my sister. Hang out on the ship still, like stay kind of scarce, But yeah, we don't have to put you back in the hold.
She's 9 and goes, yeah, that works for me.
All right.
We may desire to come up with a reason why she wasn't immediately apparent.
She was
when
taking
we
a nap.
first,
She was
just
taking it. We
checking.
didn't want her with the people with the guns. That's a pretty good reason.
Fair. I just wanted to make sure we had one.
No, you're right. You're very right.
Lying is complicated.
I have some games on the compad. Have you played like Space Snake?
Bejeweled.
Asteroids. That one is not changed and it is thematically appropriate. Yeah.
All right, cool.
If there's nothing else,
Nope,
let's get this
that's all I
ship
got.
going.
Yep.
Turn the keys.
So are you guys trying to... Are you guys going to go ahead of Atlas and Delia, or are you going to sort of try and keep up with them sort of one-on-one in case anything happens?
I think that's up to you both. I'm happy to drive us wherever.
I never mind the cautious route.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
It's awkward if we show up with the stuff and not them.
2/3 of the stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you guys are sticking with them, slowing down to a car's speed so you can keep an eye on them in case anything else goes down. It's getting later and later in the day. You guys first arrived at Gal sometime early morning for the planet itself. And as you guys have had quite a full day, it's starting to get into the late afternoon. So as you're flying, you finally come across the mining town of Ragged Springs, and looks a bit different than Alex remembers it. It's situated in a valley up against a mountain range. The outer rim of the town looks less like a well-kept and oiled machine and more like a war zone. Walls with scorch marks and bullet holes from small arms fire, and there's rubble scattered about where buildings once stood. You see a makeshift perimeter wall of debris and scrap managed by a dozen of people and Ursim alike. Overlooking the battle-licked town, you get a high-pitched message.
Delia gave us a heads up while you were coming through. You can land on one of our landing pads. Follow the lights.
I do remember that voice anyway.
Alex remembers this as the voice of, what's his name? Glenk.
That's Galenk. But the city looks different. I don't remember this mountain. That was not there before.
Came out of nowhere.
Are people pretending that this is normal?
So you guys do as the message says. You follow the pulsing lights, now just barely visible as the sun has started to set behind the mountain range. You find the landing pad and you prepare to disembark.
Hooray.
So the landing pad is just a fairly wide open space for, you assume, cargo ships alike for taking out the mined whatever and moving it elsewhere.
And Delia and Atlas are coming up They pulled their truck in at the same time that we were flying over the city? Is that right?
Yeah. Cool. They have to go through the outer perimeter, so they have to, the makeshift walls are sort of pulled apart for them and stuff like that. But yes, you guys arrive at the same time.
We
All right.
should probably let Mikey out of his room if he's, conscious.
I mean, he hasn't kicked at the door yet, so he might not be, but yeah, we can go and lock that.
He is not conscious yet.
Fantastic.
Excellent news.
Alex would figure he'd probably be out for a couple more hours.
Okay, cool.
So you guys are disembarking. You are starting to take cargo off the ship, I would assume, unless you're just like, nah, someone else do it.
Where are we supposed to put it?
But
That's
a fair question.
Is there
Are
a
we just chucking it out the
cargo
door?
spot
you can
unloading
load
dock?
it onto
No,
sort
that's
of the landing
completely
pad.
fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Alex is finding the lightest boxes he can carry because he's already just wiped. he's only like 5 pounds in both hands and shaking.
And as you guys are just trying to take things off the ship because they don't belong on the ship, like undoing the ties so they didn't move around
All
during
the space bungees.
Yeah, all of the space bungees. You guys see an elderly Torque float up next to you.
I can't say that.
So this elderly Torque, when I say elderly, that means he has quite a few. They have quite a few more crystals than. Do you guys remember what Torques are?
Yeah.
From the
Yeah,
descriptions?
Sure. Yeah,
All
the
right.
goblins.
So the crystal goblins that keep growing crystals until they can no longer move, and then eventually sort of phoenix size or whatever, and come back.
Phoenix down.
And come back as a slightly different version of themselves. You can tell this is an older Torque because of the number of crystals that have already sort of started to form on him. And in Torque fashion, he has some prosthetics. His torso is attached to what appears to be a flying saucer-like things. And he has the normal 2 arms, but then also 2 robotic arms underneath those that are constantly fiddling with the different dials and knobs and controllers on the flying saucer itself. piloting him through, and you can say, you can hear him squeal,
Is that Alex?
Glink, you are looking luminous as always.
Well, thank you. How are you, my good sir? Oh, you seem to have found a ship.
Yes, it's proved useful in carrying your shit.
See?
Which hand do I shake now? More than there were before.
Oh, you can take this one right here.
and he sticks out his right hand.
I take it.
He shakes it quite vigorously, for as vigorous as an elderly Torque can.
It's got a little, got some holes in your ship there, Alex.
Yes, we're hoping to buff those out, pop them open. Delia and Atlas said that they were handling that.
Yep. We fill you with fuel, we fix up your ship, and you're good to go.
Wonderful, Glink. Wonderful. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. How noisy will that be? I am absolutely exhausted and ready to pass out.
Oh, well, it'll probably take about a day. But the refueling itself wouldn't be quite quiet. The hammers on the hull, on the other hand, might be a little loud at times.
Okay. Well, we'll deal. These are my companions. I'm being very rude. This is Micah, and this is Nona. Micah, Nona, this is Glink.
And he raises up both of his right hands and waves and goes,
Hello, my name's Glink. I am a Torque, as you can see. I am Ragged Springs mechanic. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Glenk. I'm a human, as you can see. I work on this year ship.
Cool.
Yeah.
Don't you hate that awkward moment where you get introduced to acquaintances of acquaintances?
Is Claire disembarking with you guys?
I think that's mostly up to Claire.
I
Yeah.
think we recommended before that she stay on the ship, but if she wants to stretch her legs.
Yeah.
Okay, so she would probably hang out upstairs.
Makes sense.
Glink, in other news, we have two of your own on board. I don't know if Atlas and Delia included that in their earlier call.
Ah, yes. Noah and Mikey, correct?
That's right, yeah.
We should probably see Mikey quite soon. His wife is worried. Noah, arrangements are being made.
Of course. Yeah, we'll get Mikey home and we'll get Noah comfortable.
Cool.
Yeah, otherwise we'll wait here until further orders are received. I went French for a little bit.
Should I go get Mikey?
Yeah, if you want to, I'll go. We'll go.
Actually, yeah,
grab him.
I'll go get Mikey. You guys can stay here. I'll go grab him.
Of course, yeah.
You want a stretcher? I got a floating stretcher.
Yeah, sure.
And
Take that.
he presses some dials on his little spaceship, and a rectangular stretcher starts to protrude from his flying saucer until it comes more and more out until it's just like a floating rectangular stretcher that doesn't require any
How does
hands
that
to move it.
how does that fit in there? Huh.
Glink, did you have to?
I have
did
many
you-
questions.
Did you have to make it quite so phallic when it comes out?
You like it?
Ah,
You know, Torque don't have genitalia, so, we have to sort of make do with pretending sometimes.
yeah, turns out so do humans.
Stretcher envy. All right, I'll hover it up into the thing and get Mikey out.
Yeah, it's hovering as in you don't need to necessarily control it in any way. If you try and push down on it, it tries to raise up to its original height. If you try and pull up on it, it tries to again go back down to its original height. So
Yeah, might test it out a little bit.
yeah, probably made of the same sort of equipment that he's using to locomote. He looks over at Nona in particular, like,
Hello.
Hello, I have many questions.
Yes, ask them.
Tell me about your extra arms. Where did you get those?
Oh, well, you see, I was spending so much time controlling my flying saucer that I'm on top of that I wasn't able to do things with my hands. So I figured, you know what I need? More arms. So I built them, and then I attached them to me. And now
he gestures with his regular arms, the non-robotic ones.
I can juggle while I'm moving around. Ain't that crazy?
Very.
Alex just has this dead look in his face, as he's definitely heard this over and over again before.
Not this version, but the first. Were they wings, Glink,
Well, yes.
before the saucer?
The wings did. It was hard to hover with wings, you know? You can fly with wings just fine, but hovering is a lot more difficult with wings. Also tended to crash a bit more.
Did you also make this saucer?
Yes. Do you like it?
Can you teach me how?
You got a ear?
No,
We
we don't. I'm sorry. I don't
Apparently
think.
not.
We have maybe a day. We weren't planning on staying very long.
No?
No, unfortunately.
Oh,
As much as I've always appreciated your presence, Glink.
you lady killer, Alex.
And he looks back at Nona.
I can give you the rough up and down, not necessarily how to exactly make one yourself, but give you an idea of how it works. Maybe
Yes,
over
please.
drinks or something.
Yes, please.
All right. Gotta unload all of this shit first, though.
And he just goes off and obviously is very one-track minded about taking this stuff off now so he can talk about his flying saucer that he's made.
We are going to be the best of friends.
So I'll come back out with Mikey at this point. It was like, where the fuck do you get? I still have this stretcher. There's a guy on it. His dick stretcher. Some people, unbelievable.
Don't
So-
you hate it when a guy just gives you his dick stretcher?
So you guys are unloading the cargo. You were moving one for one, sort of with the truck with Delia and Atlas in it. So they've arrived now. They've come up and they're starting to help you guys unload the cargo as well. And it's starting to go to different places. Probably a warehouse for some places, an armory for others.
This is the gun corner. It's where we keep the guns.
Perhaps some kind of granary, a warehouse, a store.
So things are generally sort of getting unpacked and all of that. Is there anything that you want to do as you guys are unpacking things?
Not really.
Alright.
Alex doesn't have anything. He's quiet, kind of looking around the as much as he can see of the town from the landing pad.
Gonna surreptitiously use some telekinesis to lift the heavier boxes that I can't actually lift myself with my
Fantastic.
normal
nice.
arms.
Love it.
Try and make it so no one
But
notices.
both Delia and Atlas are aware that you are a telekinetic.
I think I
of
made
some-
that pretty obvious in the
Yeah.
fight. Yeah.
with the telekinetic armory.
Yeah.
It's a little bit
Yeah,
hard to.
which
Yeah.
I intentionally make visible. So yeah.
Yeah.
For intimidation purposes.
Yes, and because I think it's cool.
That's fair. Coolness points. Big factor.
So, Alex, as you sort of scan the town, you notice there are definitely parts of it that are a little bit more battle-licked than others. There are some buildings that you remember once stood that no longer stood. Particularly, your old office building it no longer exists. Is now a pile of rubble. There are some cottages and apartments that seem to have gotten some fire marks on them, either from blasts or from small arms fire from like laser pistols. You look farther into the town and it appears about what you would expect, changing after a couple of months. So the outer rims of the town have definitely seen better days, but you notice there are parts of the town that are rebuilding. So it's not like Normandy in France during World War II. It's not completely and utterly in disarray with fighting constantly going back and forth, but it's definitely seen some combat.
Mm-hmm.
And Delia walks up behind you as Atlas is starting to help unload more and more of the cargo. Gives you a good slap on the back.
Oh, you really need to stop that. It's not so much a greeting as a beating.
You get that elicits a chuckle from her, and she says, "You guys should come and get a drink with us tonight. We're gonna. We found out as we came in that the other man that we weren't able to find, Henry Drivet, you know him.
Yeah.
We're going to have a little bit of a service for Henry and Noah, and then we are going to get shit-faced drunk at the bar, which
is
called the Drunk Cobra.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
I perk up.
I'm not much of a drinker, you know this, and I'm very surprised and pleasantly so by the warm welcome I've received from all of you, but I'm worried that my being there isn't necessarily the best thing for everybody.
I see what you're saying, but everyone knows the man, Alex. They've forgotten the company man, Alex. No.
There's not as much of a fine line as you think there is.
We would like to see you there. I understand if you do not feel comfortable seeing our little town again.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll see how I back problems. Feeling a bruise, might have to go lay down. But
Alex, I really think that we ought to honor their wishes. I think they want you to be there. Really mourn with them,
I can be there in spirit.
You just want to go get booze.
You should listen to Micah
said
there.
I can be very sad.
Micah, I
can be very sad anywhere.
Well, Micah and Nona, you're free to join us if you would like to come. Alex, you're more than welcome as well.
Yeah.
She gives you one last smack right where you're like, my back hurts, and then walks away with Atlas.
I felt that one in my lungs.
As the cargo starts to go to different places. So yeah, it's sundown now. Like you can barely see the sun anymore. The service is probably going to happen eventually. Do you guys want to go to the service? What are you guys doing? Is Claire staying on the ship?
Where does is it going?
Glenk.
Where does he go?
He so the landing pad is right off to next to what you would assume to be like a workshop, considering it has the big sign workshop. But of course, he went back in there with some of the crates, probably to sort things out, maybe tinker some more. You're not entirely sure, but he's in that workshop at this point in time. You're free to explore the town if you'd like. There is the Drunk Cobra that people will be going to after, or you could just go to sleep and be lame.
Yeah, Alex is, for his part, staying on the ship, unless he's, dragged out of there. He's not heading much further than like the landing pad.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a walk around the town a little bit while the service is happening, and then make a swift line for the drunk cobra.
All right. No, what are you doing?
I mean, I'm conflicted because I really don't want to split the party, but the party's already split, so I'm going to go a third place. I'm going to go hang out with Clink.
All right. So, you have seen more fancy workshops than this. This is definitely down and dirty, covered with oil, but it's got a lot of neat things in it. And you just see Glink in the back sort of going between tables and moving boxes and hitting things with hammers and just generally tinkering around. And as you walk in, you hear there's a little doorbell at the top that gets hit as you move, and it goes like ding. So you hear from the back as he's doing this.
Hello? Who's there?
Hi, it's Nona. I was just wondering if I could watch you work.
And he just sort of zooms out from behind the curtain that was the back room and comes out into the front area. Like, you want to see me work?
Yes, please.
Well, come on.
He zooms on back.
Gonna go learn so much about electronics, you guys. It's gonna be great.
And right now, the project that he's working on is a specific type of mining drill that allows for basically to vibrate out the ores from the rocks itself without having to break away stuff. So he occasionally turns it on and it just absolutely breaks the table that he's on, and he goes and flips out another table and puts it down and starts like testing again. He talks to you about how to make ships and not necessarily how to make ships, but how to repair ships, where certain things go. You're sort of absorbing all of that information.
No, we'll remember this.
Is there anything in particular you want to talk to him about?
Not really. I believe this would be probably my first time majorly interacting with a Torque. Before, so not really. Nona sort of has a fascination with those, prosthetic robotic body parts.
Yeah.
And so, like, this is a unique opportunity to just find out as much information about everything sort of surrounding that that is possible.
Yep. Cool.
And that's just it's a passion of mine.
Yeah. And he's talking to you, and he occasionally understands that it's a two-way street, so he'll occasionally come back with like
So, Nona, where are you from?
Well, that's a great question. Let me look up my backstory. I don't think we actually ever decided what planet I sort of started on, did we?
Oh, it was probably Cass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I'm from Cass. I've been a pilot for 2 years now, and I am just really interested in machinery.
He leans in. He says,
So am I.
and you can see sort of like the fire go behind his eyes as he says that. Like, you would think that he is undermining how much he actually likes machinery with that. So you guys,
So only a pilot for 2 years. What were you doing before that?
Oh, I was just around. I had a family to take care of me then. But we lost each other. And I have been working ever since then to try to find them.
Oh. He sort of slows down at that. Like,
I'm sorry to hear that. We Torque, family's not really a thing for us. It's more communities. But I understand loss and losing people you care about, I hope you find them, wherever they might be.
I'm confident they're out there somewhere. I just need to look in the right place.
Well, go for you, Nona.
He gives you like a thumbs up with his robotic arm because his real arms were busy doing something.
Fantastic. Yeah, and I would also imagine that, any particular questions I had about like the peculiarities of the ship we're currently flying, the Blue Robin. Like, they're like, hey, you ever notice that, you go to turn on this and there's that slight hesitation there. Is there any way to fix that? And just like getting really down into like details about that sort of thing.
Yeah. You get the sense that Glenk has a very strong, he's a very broad knowledge of a lot of things. And his deep knowledge generally comes from like prosthetics, maybe some robotic circuitry and stuff like that.
In that case, I would love to learn more about those.
Cool. Yeah. So he talks about them. He even references that,
I was trying to build a virtual intelligence the other day, and damn thing kept failing the Turing test. It like
Space Turing.
Space Alan Turing. Yes.
No, because you remember the Turing test where, well, I don't know if you know the Turing test, but I think it's the Turing test. Anyway, there's a test where you try and ask a thing a certain question, and then it answers said question, and then you try and guess whether or not it's a human or it's a machine. And people have been trying to get closer and closer to that question, such that it blurs the line. You can ask it any number of questions, and you would never be able to guess with 100% accuracy whether it was a machine or whether it was a human.
That is fascinating.
Sure is.
So Glink was testing his robot with the Turing test, but he knew it was a robot, so it kept failing.
I mean, even passing, it's usually, to jump slightly out of character and be a nerd about this for a minute, it's usually about you're talking to two, one's an actual person and and you have to guess which is which. So really the best you can get on that is about a 50-50 score. Because otherwise you would have to make yourself seem more human than the actual human.
So the best you can do is random chance.
Yeah, exactly.
The idea is there's no algorithm that you would be able to find, that you would be able to look down and say, this one's definitely a human or this one's definitely a machine. So it is getting towards that 50-50 kind of deal, but like that confidence rate and all that. And my computer scientist is showing.
It's a little more advanced with the space Turing test, you understand.
Right. There's a third component to this Insta-test.
Today's episode brought to you by Statistics and Probability. Statistics and Probability. Take it.
You also ask it what would it do with a turtle that was upside down in the sun in the desert and all of that shit. That's a Blade Runner reference for those who you're not aware.
That's me.
Cool.
The Blade Runner.
So is that all you want to mention?
Yeah, it's literally just hang out, talk shop as much as possible.
Cool.
Probably in general, try to deflect away from personal questions.
That's fair.
Naturally, you just answer, now ask you a question, and then as soon as can, ask another question about mechanics and electronics.
So that goes on for however long you want it to go on. I feel like Nona could talk about that stuff for a while.
I'm planning on just following. I'm assuming he's going to the Drunk Cobra later, so I was just planning on following him there and meeting back up with my bud.
Micah was just walking around the city, checking out the sights.
Seeing what there is. I mean, it sounds like it's kind of a shithole, right?
There are parts of it that are nicer than others, but for the most part, it's a mining town, right? It's people live, grow up, and then work at the mines here. It's like one of those coal mills like you would find in Pittsburgh in earlier times than these, which is why it was so important for people like Delia and Atlas to secure the safety and better treatment of what effectively everyone ends up doing. Obviously, there are some auxiliary jobs like Glenk, who's a mechanic of some kind, or someone has to teach the children or be a medic of some kind. So, but it is a functioning town, but it is very much a working town with most people doing one specific job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then I'm just kind of walking the streets, and I guess the sun's kind of gone down. But yeah, just kind of seeing what people look like, if any are walking around. Also, keeping an eye out for where those kind of battle scars you mentioned are. It's like how badly are these people kind of fucked?
Yeah. So just from taking a quick glance around the city, you notice that when it comes to this sector and this system that you're more familiar with, the ratio to humans, Ursim, and Torque is about in that order. So there are more humans than there are Ursim. There are more Ursim than there are Torque, and so on. Well, not and so on, because that's the end of it. But you notice that there seem to be more Ursim here than you would normally think for just like taking an absolute like snapshot of a group of people. So it seems to be heavier on the Ursim side. Mm-hmm. And you see some that have the same features as in the white fur as Atlas. So he might belong to a clan that works these particular mines. But you're checking things out. It's home for them. It's not the nicest thing, but it's not the worst. So the sun has gone down. You check your synchronized watches to see that it is time to party at the Drunk Cobra.
It is booze o'clock.
It is booze o'clock
that I've been waiting for.
Glink and Nona. They head out and like,
oh, time to get those drinks.
And you guys head off to the Drunk Cobra as well. Alex, you're staying behind in the ship.
Yeah, I'm just kind of hanging out. I might go check on Claire, make sure that she's like okay.
Yep, she's just hanging out in her room reading a book.
Okay. So before that, there's I'm assuming that Alex is at least kind of familiar with whatever religion is prominent in Gao.
Yeah,
just a little bit. I want to whatever knowledge I have. When I roughly think that the service is going over, I want to offer a prayer, do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Alex doesn't have his own religion to do that with, but he has
steals others.
Just steals others, keeps them in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And go find Claire. Everything okay? Just checking in. Want to make sure everything's fine. It's a little quiet, so.
Yeah. Where are Micah and Nona?
Oh, they went on the town to go look around. Have you ever been to a mining town? There's not a lot, but there's a lot of nothing.
No. How well do you know Nona?
She's been around for a week, as long as I've known Micah. Longer than I've known you. But by a little bit, though.
And you can see that bringing up Nona, there's something that Claire doesn't like about her, and she brings it up again. So, as you were able to figure out, I'm a telepath.
Mm-hmm.
I can skim the surface thoughts of people and Ursim and Torque, and it's easy for me. It comes very naturally. When I first found, I guess when you first found found me,
yeah,
the three of you,
mm-hmm.
I could read you and Micah. I couldn't read Nona. That's something that's never happened to me before. I don't know who or what she is, but that scares me.
Yeah, I can understand. why that would be scary. I personally have never been able to read anybody's mind. So I can't speak to surface thoughts. She's a little strange, but she's tried to talk to you. Right?
She's been perfectly nice.
Mm-hmm.
She's said nothing wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't get a read on her. And that's something that I've been able to do ever since I've practiced this ability. And it scares me. Just watch her, okay?
We don't have to just watch. We can go talk.
And she sort of like retracts from that notion a little bit.
You don't have to. I can. And if you want to be there, and I do, you can be. If you want to be on the other side of the ship, you can also be there. I understand that trepidation. Thank you, first of all, for sharing that. I kind of like smile. Yeah, I was feeling a little down in the dumps, but I feel a little bit better. And you can read my thoughts and confirm that if you want to.
And that gets a smile out of her, and she like looks back down at her book and nods and says, "Just be careful, Alex."
Thanks for looking out. So you don't have to. Do you want to head out to the ship, get some fresh air? You've been cooped up in here for a long time. I'm worried about you, sweetie.
And she perks up a little bit at that. And would it be okay?
Yeah, we'll go in. We'll go hang out. We don't have to go into the city if you don't want to. There's not much light in Gauss, so there's a nice view of the stars.
Yeah, I would like that.
Okay.
So are you guys just going to go sort of on a walk sort of around the ship and the general vicinity of the ship?
Yeah, I kind of I step out of the room and I kind of gesture and I let Claire lead the way off the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And I let her walk as far as she wants to. I try not to like lead her anywhere. She's in charge of this first excursion. For sure.
That's adorable. Go on. Go look at the outside world.
Like a newborn baby deer, she sort of takes these steps out into the because you don't know how long it's been since she's been not on a ship, right?
Yep.
So she's definitely taking in and looking at the stars that are now more apparent as the sun has gone down. And just sort of taking it all in, not necessarily going much more than like a couple of yards away from the ship at any given time, but just looking at all of the surrounding.
Yeah, we'll stay out here as long as we need to. Eventually the others will come stumbling back. But take your time. And I just kind of sit down in the bottom of the ramp and I look up at the stars with her.
Cool. We'll leave that scene to go towards the more rambunctious scene that's probably happening at the Drunken Cobra. So what are you guys doing? Are you guys drinking heavily?
Well, that's the plan.
Yeah. Yes. No, are you also drinking heavily?
And not particularly. I am a bit of a cheapskate with my money. But if it's free, then probably mid to low level, but I would also like to specifically pay attention to like Glake's level of intoxication. And then once he seems like slightly tipsy, I have a question for him.
I see. So Delia finds you guys and says, "Hey, your tabs are on me. Go have fun." And smacks you both on the back like she does with Alex and goes over to Atlas and a few other Ursim to sort of just it seems just talk about it, maybe relive some of the glory days with Noah and Henry. So Glink he's down in them as well. he's just, and it also turns out that because he is such a small sort of humanoid that it doesn't require that much in order to get him absolutely sloshed.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to grab a drink and I'm going to go hang out with him. And I'm going to say, by the way, do you happen to know anything about Dr. Samantha Calvin?
And you say this to him, and he sort of looks up at you very quizzically. And, this is going to be to try and do like a sloshed version of this.
Good luck. Goblin.
How do you know that name?
I don't know. I just heard it somewhere. You mentioned the Turing test, and I remembered that there was something, she had something to do with robotics, I think, and I couldn't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah. Wow. So, we, Torque, we like our mechanics, our prosthetics, our virtual intelligence, anything that can be made with electricity and science is fun. And there's been an urban legend of sorts about Dr. Samantha Calvin. She was one of the first to try and make a true artificial intelligence, something that was human at its very core, but completely non-human in its structure. She disappeared, though, and was never heard from again. And that was like pre-Scream era kind of deal. So, like, she's gone, probably. Why do you ask about her? Not many people other than like Torques and people interested in artificial intelligence even know the name.
Well, like I was saying, I'm very interested, similar to you, in all things mechanical, electrical, and I just remember hearing that name, and I was just wondering about, because you were saying you were trying to build a virtual
AI, but
yeah.
Virtual AI, it's a bunch of if-then statements. It's nothing more than the surface of trying to look like actual intelligence. A true AI.
That'd be a lot harder.
Yeah. Probably impossible. Dr. Samantha Calvin, she was the closest one to ever get to that.
I mean, are we sure she even existed?
Well, Torques live quite a long time. The Scream was about 300 years ago, so there's not a Torque alive that would have been alive back then, but information disappears more slowly with Torques than it does with humans. But if you want to read up on her, probably some pre-tech archive or library you could find that would have some information on her. If she was real, that's where it would be. He takes another sip of his robot Sam Adams.
Robot Sam Adams, fantastic. I might just do that, and then I will let the conversation go back to whatever.
Cool. Mike, are you doing anything in particular?
Gonna go over to Atlas and tell him that he looks like he needs a shot.
I'm going to shoot him.
You and me both, pal. And he, were you offering him a
I'm
shot?
offering, I mean, it's on the house anyway, so I'm not paying for it. Yeah,
And
but I'm gonna bring.
you guys sort of clink together the what type of shot are you guys having? Space potato vodka.
Yeah.
I love it.
You guys,
Whatever they have in
hydroponics
this
day.
backwater town.
you guys clink and you guys take a shot, and there seems to be like just a a lull in the conversation. You know how that sometimes happens in like bars where all of a sudden everything gets quiet for one reason or another and then starts back up. Well, in this lull, there's been a TV playing on in the background, playing just general information about like news stories, and
Oh, no.
and stuff
Oh,
like
dear.
that. And you can hear the TV cut through the noise. And the news anchor says, "The culprits remain at large with the stolen scrap. Any information you may have regarding these men, please share with the GCPD." In other news, the daughter of Eriko Watanabe, board member and head of applied technologies at the Beholder Collective, was kidnapped about a week ago from the planet of Cass upon a ship known as the Blue Robin, crewed by a man and 2 women. A photo of Claire with her piercing blue eyes is shown on the screen. Claire Watanabe is the adopted daughter of Miss Watanabe and her only child. Here is a statement by Miss Watanabe herself. "I pray every day that she is still safe. I don't care what it takes. I'll pay anything to get her back. Please, I just want to see my little girl again." The kidnappers were last seen running a spike drive towards the Metanar system and are believed to be refueling somewhere on Gal. A reward of 500 credits is being given out to anyone who gives credible information concerning the whereabouts of Claire Watanabe or her 3 captors. Here are the sketches of the captors based on eyewitness accounts. And on the screen appears semi-accurate sketches of Alex, Nona,
come
and Micah.
on.
Come on.
People can never get these sketches right. You're
I
telling
just
me
said
now.
semi-accurate.
Okay.
Also, probably the one who gave that information was our employer, who knows exactly what we look
I mean, no, that's fair.
There's also Brian, who saw you guys very closely.
Brian, no!
Brian, you
You
bastard!
betrayed us.
The
I will
kidnappers.
have your head, Brian.
The kidnappers are considered extremely dangerous. At least one in their number is a powerful telekinetic. Approach with caution. Information can be passed on to the GCPD, and the information sort of trails off as the lull comes back on, as the new news anchor goes into the next story. And that is where we'll end today's session.
Fantastic,
Cool,
love it.
man. I'm just looking at the stars.
Couldn't even
Not knowing any of the shit that may be coming.
I'm just saying, like, oh yeah, this is nice.
I think my next
Timing.
move is that sidestep door.
Yeah, we're just
Run!
gonna kind of lock eyes, like maybe
Maybe another shot, and then we
just like
get out.
one for the road, and then
Oh,